Hey everyone, welcome back to the Ozarks Homestead and Farm. So today I wanted to talk about fermenting feed in the winter time. I'm going to give you some tips and show you some changes that I made to my process to get through the winter. So depending on where you're located at in the world, winter may pose some problems for you when it comes to fermenting feed. And a couple things that are very important to this process. One is temperature and the other is oxygen or air. So let's talk about temperature first. Okay. The ideal temperature to ferment this feed is 85 degrees Fahrenheit or 29 degrees Celsius. That is the perfect temperature to be fermenting feed. Now for me, down here in the Ozarks, we have some pretty harsh winters. We get down to 10 degrees Fahrenheit, which is well below zero and way too low for this fermentation process to take place. Okay. On the higher side, temperatures can get up to 115 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit or 46 to 49 degrees C. At that temperature and above, it's pretty much going to kill off the microorganisms and it's just going to make it bad. You can at that point feed it to your pigs or put it in the compost pile, but you want to keep it below those temperatures. Here in the Ozarks, not a problem for me. I don't need to worry about the high temps. Okay? But what I do need to do is keep this at or above 65 degrees Fahrenheit or 18 degrees Celsius. That is the minimum temperature for this process. Now this process is lactic acid fermentation. It requires temp and an oxygen deficient environment, so no oxygen or little oxygen for that matter. Okay, so temperature wise, there are bacteria in this process that will survive down to 30 degrees Fahrenheit, but some of the more beneficial ones are going to start to die off at 60 degrees. This is why this process needs to be maintained at 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius to continue to make a viable batch. Okay, so for me, I was fermenting in my garage. You probably saw some of my other videos where I was in my messy garage doing my fermentation. But now winter is upon us, temperatures are getting too low at nighttime, and my garage, albeit stays warmer than the outside, even if it's 30 or 40 in there, it's too cold for this process. So what I had to do is move into my basement. This is less than ideal. At some point, we're going to make this into a living area, but for this winter, it's going to have to do. It's going to stay approximately 70 degrees, pretty constant temperature. It's going to be fine for me to ferment my food. So let's recap. Temperature-wise, 85 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal. That is 29 degrees Celsius. Too hot is 115 to 120 Fahrenheit, which is 46 to 49 degrees C. That's too hot. Your minimum temp is 65 degrees Fahrenheit, to 18 degrees Celsius. That's your minimum temperatures. If you stay between 65 and 85 Fahrenheit and 18 and 29 degrees Celsius, you're going to be fine with temperature. All right, so let's move on to the second thing. The second thing is lactic acid fermentation is an anaerobic process. Now, I don't know a ton about it. I just know that you need to keep oxygen out of it. So I've been lazy. I haven't stirred this today and I didn't stir it yesterday, so I'm going to show you what happens. So in the fermentation process, there's a lot of bubbling and it wants to push all the solids to the top. So a way to keep this submerged in water to keep oxygen out of it is you need to constantly, well, not constantly, but frequently stir it so that the bubbling doesn't push everything up. If you don't do that, this is what it's going to look like. So here we go. Now don't worry, these aren't bugs right here or anything like that, but you can see that there's bubbles here, here, here. But it's pushed all these solids. This is just the solids, right? It's pushed all the solids to the surface. And now, see, now you got the water coming up down here. See that? The whole bottom part of the bucket is water, all the solids are at the top. So you want to definitely keep this mixed. Push this down. There you go. So you can see it's still kind of bubbling. a little bit. Now, a tip that I got from a viewer that I showed a couple videos back was to take a plate, drop your plate in there, and then the weight of the plate, maybe put a weight on it, is going to hold the solids down. The liquid will come over the top. The point is, you want this to be covered in liquid. If it's covered in water, it will keep the air out of the process and you'll be good. So keep your temperatures right, keep the oxygen out of it, and your fermentation feed will be great. Save you money, keep your chickens happy and healthy. It's a win-win. I hope this video helps. I hope you learned something today. If you did, thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe. I always appreciate the support with the channel. See you next time.